Good evening and welcome to the Papillion-La Vista Community Schools Board of Education meeting for October 27. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Madler.
Here.
Ms. Witt.
Here.
Mr. Lotus.
Here.
Ms. Wood.
Here.
Mr. Bailey.
Here.
Ms. Butler.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Please note that the Nebraska Open Meetings Law is posted at the entrance to the room. We will move on to communications. Tonight we have recognitions for Dr. Rickley.
Thank you very much, Ms. Witt and members of the board, and happy Monday, everyone. For those of you that have watched our Board of Education meetings for any period of time, you'll know that one of the things that we really love to do around here is recognize students, staff, programs that have gone above and beyond and brought distinction to the building, the school district, and the community. And we have a couple of individuals that certainly qualify for both of those things tonight. So we're going to be recognizing two different individuals, keeping in mind that both of these distinctions are very much team efforts. So much hard work goes into leadership, we all know that, and we have several people in support of the individuals here this evening. What I would ask, and since these are staff members, they know how this works, but I'll say it anyway. So we'll go through the very first recognition. If we could just pause for just a minute, take a few pictures, that individual can return to his seat, and then we'll do the second announcement, and we'll do the same thing if we want to come down and do some pictures. So the very first recognition of the evening is a man that needs no introduction, our own Tim Johnson, who is the principal at Papillion Middle School. Tim received the 2025 Dr. Katie Settles Nebraska Outstanding Administrator. That is no typo, by the way. Our own Dr. Settles has an award named after her. I don't think anybody else in this room can lay that claim, so that's kind of fun. That in and of itself is worth a recognition. But yes, the 2025 Dr. Katie Settles Nebraska Outstanding Administrator Award, which is presented by the Nebraska Association of Student Councils. This award recognizes continued support of principals or activity directors for student council programs and activities in recognition for Tim's leadership at Papillion Middle School and the environment he has created to support our students and the future leaders. We also have, I believe, Valerie Perrick, longtime Papillion Middle School staff member. I believe Ms. Perrick was part of the crew that nominated Mr. Johnson for this award. Tim Johnson, come down and be recognized by your Board of Education. Well done, Tim. We're incredibly proud of you and grateful for your support for the leaders of tomorrow. Valerie, thank you for being here, and thank you for your leadership in making this award happen. Our second recognition of the evening is another very special award. We have Ms. Brooke Moorhead, the Chief Quail, who has joined us this evening, in recognition of the Special Olympics Unified Champion School designation, which is designated by the U.S. Special Olympic Committee. A little bit about this distinguished award. A Unified Champion School meets rigorous standards by implementing inclusive sports, inclusive leadership activities, and whole school engagement. With sports as the foundation, the three-component model offers a unique combination of effective activities that equip young people with tools and training to create sports, classroom, and school climates of acceptance. There are school climates where students with disabilities feel welcome and are routinely included and feel part of all activities, opportunities, and functions. This program is designed to be woven into the fabric of the school, enhancing current efforts and providing rich opportunities that lead to meaningful change for a socially inclusive school. This absolutely describes the environment that Ms. Moorhead has created. One of the things that makes this award particularly special is we had the first two Class A high schools in the state of Nebraska receive this award. Monarch and Titan have both received this distinguished honor. We received our first elementary school award last spring when Pam Lowndes at Prairie Queen Elementary received the Special Olympics Unified Champion Schools. So this marks our fourth building that is a National Banner Unified Champion School. It's a tremendous honor. It takes a tremendous amount of work, Brooke, we are so very proud of you. Please come down and be recognized by your Board of Education.
It's because of these guys that I got to do it. So.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, I don't gotta be there.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Very good. Stand. And thank you for the delegate of Fighting Quails who accompanied their fearless leader. We are so very proud of what you've accomplished at Anderson Grove. Again, Tim, congratulations on your honor at Papillion Middle School. Valerie, thanks again for being here. And with that, I conclude the superintendent recognitions for the evening. Ms. Witt.
Thank you very much. Tonight, we have a school presentation from the Papillion La Vista High School AP Climate and Culture Group.
Yes, good evening, Board of Education. It is my honor to introduce Mr. Jason Ryan. As you know, we have presentations done by our school several months of the year at the second board meeting. And this one is very exciting because it not only ties to our current strategic plan, but also our previous strategic plan. And Mr. Ryan's going to introduce his staff members that he has here tonight to talk to you about the advanced placement, climate, and culture at Monarch High School. So,
All right.
Mr. Ryan?
You bet. Thank you, Dr. Siri, and thank you, Board of Education. We're just excited and thankful for the opportunity here tonight to share with you about the advanced placement, climate and culture at Monarch High. And first and foremost, you'll see the list of our staff members that currently teach AP courses, but it's a collective effort of every one of our teachers, our counseling staff, our teachers preparing our students, giving them confidence, implementing rigor across the board, and so it's definitely a collective effort. One of the things we heard from our external team last year, recommendations, was how do you continue to maintain and sustain rigor across the board, and this is just one way. And it's definitely a goal of ours and a concentrated effort, and we're very intentional, and we know we got to continue to get better. We would like to also recognize the board. The 2018 bond issue that passed has allowed us to administer all of our tests at Monarch High. In previous years, we would bus kids down to the central office here. We might use a church in the community. We've used Beardmore before, Embassy Suites. With the additions at Monarch High, our kids can take tests in their building. They're more comfortable. They can have breakfast before they get going. So that's a shout out to our community and just a wonderful opportunity for our kids to be able to take tests right on their home turf. The foundation also is a big supporter. We hear all the time, it costs $99 to take a test, and we don't want that to be a barrier for our kids. And we hear all the time, because if kids don't earn a certain score, they might not get college credit. And so the foundation, and you'll see the numbers here in the presentation, but if students take 3 or more tests, the foundation steps up and helps take care of that for our students. So just a wonderful, another example of our foundation showing up and going to work. Our counselor, Wes Caruso, one of our counselors, is kind of the lead counselor that oversees AP. He was instrumental in putting this presentation together. He handles all the registration, lines up proctors, and does a ton of work behind the scenes to make this as seamless as possible for our students. Dr. O'Hanlon, who's with us tonight, we have students that take 3, 4, 5 AP classes. So putting the puzzle together with the master schedule, allowing opportunities for our kids to be able to take 3 and 4 courses, it takes a ton of time and a ton of effort, a ton of juggling, and we appreciate Angie's work with the master schedule. And we always talk about how our master schedule is student-friendly. It's not necessarily teacher-friendly. It's about our students. And we have to remind our staff, and Angie does a great job. She'll be here at the end to answer any questions that any of you might have. Finally, our 2 presenters and teachers tonight, Nick Redding and Greta Hubert. Ironically, I met with some students' leaders this morning, and both their names came up. Just about what they do in the classroom, how they prepare our students for the next level, how they use every single minute. They talked about Mr. Redding, how we don't want to be late to Mr. Redding, because if we're late, we're going to miss something. And that's the type of teachers they are. They spend their summers grading AP tests across the country, and they travel to different places and spend 2 or 3 days, probably longer, grading tests, and that's just a way for them to understand the curriculum, to see what the examinations are all about, just to, again, to prepare our students the best to their ability. So with that, I'd like to introduce Greta Hubert and Nick Redding, two of our AP teachers at Monarch High.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Ryan, for that introduction. And we're used to students raising their hands and asking questions, so please, this is informal. If you guys have any questions during the presentation, just let us know. But we're going to start off with, whoops, this might not be the right spot. Let me fast forward a little bit. Here we go, this looks right. I think the purpose tonight is for us to give you guys a snapshot of what's going on. Can you hear me all right? Should I use the microphone? Okay. What's going on at Monarch High in terms of AP classes? And we want to talk about what's happened in... It would be easier? Okay.
Just take put.
Yeah, we'll trade places. Okay. We'll trade places. But where we've come from, I've been teaching for 22 years at the high school, and 19 of those have been teaching AP, so things have changed over the years. So where we were in the past, our 5-year trends, we'll show you some of that, but also just our goals for the future, but not to forget to celebrate, because we are really proud of a lot of the things that we've already accomplished. So we're committed to all student success, so we know that's going to take a variety of classes, on-level, honors, AP, and AP is just one part of that role. Whether our student's going to go to college or not, we still challenge everybody to take at least one AP class, especially if they plan to go to college, multiple AP classes to prepare them. But this is just one part of that, of the whole curriculum that we stress. So benefits, lots of benefits. Each class kind of has their own unique goals, so I'll just kind of speak as a whole. We feel like there's a handful of benefits for all the AP classes that we have. Intrinsic motivation, sometimes you'll get a kid that just really latches on to a certain topic and they really appreciate it and they want to dig deeper, and that's great. Collaboration, we do a lot of group work with students. Presentations, just even working together, and they learn how to work together. Sometimes if you get the kids that are interested and they dig deeper and they really keep going, that's great conversations that you might not otherwise have. Rigor is a big part of why we have AP courses. We have multiple levels, and this is going to be the most rigorous option we have. Great conversations, synthesis, evidence, those higher level DOK things that we try to do, those happen in our AP classes as well. Organization and balance. So my daughter's a sophomore, and one of the first opportunities to take an AP class is sophomore year, AP World History, which is what Greta teaches. And I'm already seeing at home, some of the stress she has, but I call it positive stress, where she's learning how to balance her time, sports, activities, studying. So this is a skill that they have to practice. Preparation for what is going to be taught in college. A lot of our students are going to move on to college courses, and this is going to help them. We'll talk more about the AP exam and credits later on, but even if they're not going to earn AP credits, just sitting in this class and taking this class at this rigor will help prepare them to be more successful in college. And then GPA, we have to remind our students sometimes it's a whole mark higher for the AP class, and they need to be reminded that, yeah, maybe you get a B in this class, but if you study really hard and you learn a lot, that'll count as an A towards the GPA. And we'll get more into the college credits with the AP exam, but I think that's one of the best benefits of AP classes, is they can save a lot of money with college tuition by taking AP exams, and passing is a 3 or higher. Their scores of a 5 is the highest, a 4, and then a 3. So if they can get a 3 or higher, they can save a lot of money and they can earn some college credit. All right, Greta, do you want to talk about admissions?
Yeah, so just one of the things that the colleges look for, is are you taking a rigorous schedule? And when they see the students are taking AP, they have more confidence that these students are ready to go and that they're prepared. And we'll talk a little bit about the distinctions that they can earn too. So one of the great things that happens is students can begin to badge or earn these credentials. So they take so many exams and they get a 3, 4, or 5. They can earn levels of distinction. And I think we have that one on the next slide. So you can see here the different type of accolades they can come out with. And I think that our students are increasingly taking pride in this because this is a national distinction. Like schools can say they're offering something that's worthwhile, But when you have a national credential that says, like, I'm in the top 15% of the nation, that is a real, standard that they can feel proud and confident when they go and apply for colleges. And we have more and more of our students that are going after, this motivation. And I think it's okay to admit that students really like to compete sometimes, and they like to earn these credentials. And so, yeah, they get to walk out of there with some of these. So Mr. Ryan talked about the cost. And I do think it's important to realize that, AP exams do cost money, and $99 itself can be, a hardship for families. But then you think about the juniors, who may be taking 3 or 4 exams. And so now we're talking about a $400 conversation. So we're so thankful for the support of the foundation, because it really does make it accessible. We do try to help our students talk about, well, what is the goal of all this college credit? Because if you can walk out of high school with 1 semester, that's what we try to get them to picture. What does 1 semester of college cost at UNL? If you guys have had people that have gone through college, we know it's pricey. It's upwards of, $12,000, $15,000 at a state university. So, this is kind of a big deal, and we want them to have all the benefits that they can possibly have. So really thankful to the foundation for that. What I'd like to do too is just kind of paint a picture of what it looks like at our school, because I think maybe people picture AP students as kind of like these little elite pocketed students, and it's not. At our school, we have, at any point in time, almost half of our students are taking an AP class. So this is a big part of our student population that's part of the growth. And just talking about the access, we don't screen. Some schools do screen. Some schools will say, not for you. But we have open arms. We kind of say, let's go, you can do this, you should try it, especially if you're going to college. And that's important. The teaching part of it, I think, is one of the ways that I believe our program is growing stronger every single day. So we have, 18 teachers that are teaching these classes. And with each class, usually there's more than 1 teacher, which means that we get to work together. We get to collaborate. Every year we get to get better as a team. And we have some younger teachers, that have demonstrated skill that are joining our AP teacher team. So it's not just all of us, experienced people that are up there. It is a tremendous amount of work. I will say, teaching AP is not a cakewalk. It might be a perception that, this is, you get the easy kids. Well, we are managing high stress levels. We also, because, half the kids are there, we're taking students of all ability levels, and we're working with all ability levels, kind of even in an AP classroom, trying to make sure that even if they're iffy on the line, that they can succeed. I just want to say, for me personally, one of the things that has helped me grow as an AP teacher is I've not been pressured about my performance, and that's kind of ironic, right? Because without any pressure at all from administrative team about show me your scores each year, it has given me the freedom professionally to experiment, if you will. I'm not afraid to try new things, and then every single year we see increased results, which you guys will get to see.
Greta, maybe you and Nick will get to this later in the presentation, but what type of special skills, credentials, or training, if any, are required to be an AP teacher?
Well, besides cuteness, nothing. No, really anybody. I think our school and our admin team, you want to prove to have strong relationships and strong skills in the classroom. And then, strong content area, but you don't have to have any specific credential. Okay. This is what we offer. We have a wide range. So we offer about half of all the AP classes that you can possibly take. So if we're preparing our kids for college, it doesn't matter if you're going into engineering, pre-med, liberal arts, you're going to have the opportunity to build your skills in these different fields. I'll give you a second to look through there. Some of them are year-long, some of them are semester. And then our building goal is just increase the number of students that are choosing rigor and enrolling, increasing the number of students that are actually successful, meaning they have a C or above, increasing the kids' testing, because that's what we want them to do, and even increasing the pass rate on the test. Because of course, if they're doing this, we want them to have that credential as they come out. We have a bunch of statistics about like the scores and things like that. Do you guys have questions so far?
One for me on the, probably related to the last one. Where have we seen an increase in student interest in classes over the last handful of years? Like, have we seen students start to get more interested in, government and politics or history or English language? Have you seen any of the student trends over the last few years on where they're kind of gravitating to? Or has it been pretty steady?
I think the next slide will show.
Yeah, okay, we'll show. Yeah.
For these AP classes or music
would-
theory.
We are having growth in the sophomores with AP World History, just the numbers keep increasing, but content area, I think we might have some better data as we go. And Dr. O'Hanlon is the enrollment expert. Yeah.
Probably in the social sciences, we're starting to see more kids go into some of those opportunities. The AP micro and macro classes went way up this year, which we got a little dicey with staffing. And I went to that teacher and I said, can I put 31 in there? We'll see if it ends up that way. And then our AP chemistry and biology classes have also gone up. So because we've been trying to get kids to take the 4 years of all the cores.
And then, is there any area of, that we don't offer that we're looking into in the future of offering AP classes?
Well, that comes at the district
Okay.
level. So, yes, there are, and advanced placements just recently added some new offerings. And so we're looking at that. And currently, we are considering, we're going to add an additional math class.
Okay.
So, but AP, the College Board monitors what particular classes are available. And then, of course, you have to have your syllabus approved, and there is AP training for instructors and so on. So it'll take us a little bit of time, but Dr. Sauer's been working with the math teachers, and we are going to add an additional math class. But like, for example, personal finance has just came out, and some other opportunities. And we'll look through the toolbox process to see what align and what fits.
All right, perfect, thanks.
And going back to the offering that we have, 18, I don't know that there's any school in America that offers all 40 AP classes, so I think we're doing a pretty good job of offering roughly half. You kind of have to make some decisions, like in the science world, in AP physics, there's 5 AP physics classes. Well, you can't offer all 5 of them. You either go the calculus route or the algebra-based route, and we decided years ago to go with the algebra-based route. So I think we're doing great. We have a lot of options for our kids, but there are some areas for improvement in science. We're thinking maybe AP environmental. But there's always decisions to be made, because if you offer something, does that take away from another class? And those are conversations we'll have in the toolbox process. Along with our district toolbox process, there also is every 10 years the AP program themselves, they will reintroduce new ideas and new curriculum. And that can drive some changes to our enrollment as well. But this is our 5-year snapshot of over the past 5 years, and this is just for our high school AP courses. So this is not related to the AP exam, because not all students take the AP exam, but holding steady, if not improving, over the last 5 years in the number of students who are participating in AP classes in our high school. Currently, we only allow 10th through 12th graders. There's not really a freshman course, and there's only one course for 10th graders, so it's mostly our juniors and seniors who are putting in the work in AP. But lots of credits are awarded. The success rate there for C or better, that's the high school course, just the grade they get in high school, and then the total enrollment, holding steady or increasing. The next slide, though, is the AP exam. So this is different. We encourage all of our students to take the AP exam, and most do, I would say. I mean, it depends from teacher to teacher, class to class. But again, 5-year trend, holding steady, if not improving in the number of students that are A, taking the exam, which is a feat in itself, just to sign up and commit to doing it, and then B, passing, which is 3 or higher, which is our goal. So, and I kind of have to brag on my teachers here a little bit, because I'm not sure everyone knows how difficult it is to pass some of these exams. So nationally, I think the average varies from class to class, but I was just looking at the data yesterday, and a lot of the pass rates nationally are in the 60%. 60% of kids who take the AP exam across the country will pass. that Monarch students are so much better than average. We're awesome. We're 10, 20, 30% higher than the national average, the state average. I mean, we're pushing 80, 90, 95% pass rate in some of our classes. So super proud of all the work that our teachers are doing and all the work that our students are doing. I like the competition part of it, and the best part about the AP exam for me is I can see how do my students stack up against everybody else across the country. And then I know I get great feedback. I know that I'm doing a good job in class. I know where I need to improve. So that's what I like about the AP exam. And these are those 3 levels again for AP scholars. This is asking quite a bit to get distinction if you look 5 or more AP exams with an average of 3.5. So those numbers are a little bit lower, but the number of kids that are taking 3 or more are pretty good. 60 kids last year took 3 or more AP exams and passed, so that's great. And we have a little poster as you walk in the high school. You can see the students in the past who received these honors, so I think that's really cool. This is a snapshot of this year's enrollment. In 10th grade, you can see there's just that one class as an option, 10th grade world history, modern, that's what Greta teaches. But look at that, 50%. 50% of our sophomores chose to take that challenge of the AP world history class. I think that's great. 11th graders, they can take one, that's when it really opens. You can take 1, 2, 3, 4 AP classes if you choose. And so you can see a lot of our juniors are taking multiple AP classes. Seniors as well, and sometimes kids see that senior year and they're thinking, oh, I want to get a double early release and kind of have a fun senior year, but we always encourage them, stack up your classes, take those classes now while they're free and while you have teachers that are going to help you. So that's good to see that a lot of our seniors are continuing to challenge themselves as well.
All the numbers are awesome. We're really proud of those, but we just wanted to share and kind of give you a picture of the culture too and how it wasn't by accident. This is through so much hard work of our students, but just really top down. So one of the things I think our school's done is just really taken everybody that's part of this community, the parents, and supporting them with from the beginning of the year, this is your role, this is how you can help. And parents really are concerned, as you guys know, we are stressed out about how to best help our kids. What do I do? What does this look like? And so we work to support them. And just all the teacher collaborating that we do. Like I already talked about, having more than one teacher and supporting our teachers, even the admin. And just recognizing our students who are choosing to do this. They're choosing to sign up for hard classes and to challenge themselves and to ask more of themselves. And this is an ongoing conversation at our school. What can we do even better to celebrate these young people and to give them, special treatment and recognition for doing the right thing? So we have teachers that have had a special breakfast the day of the exam. We have a new board that Mr. Reddy mentioned when you walk in our school that it's displayed if you're an AP scholar. And I think we're continuing to ask the students in conversation what's meaningful to you and to continue to recognize them. And then, I think we can talk from the top down. I wish we had students here, and it's always good in hindsight. We don't want them here right before a test to talk about how hard it is, but we know from their voices and from what we see that this is an incredible growth experience for them. So Mr. Ryan and our admin team got some quotes from students, and I'll just touch on a couple key things that I think that we both see from our students. So this first quote here is talking about the friends. Going through the AP experience together and prepping really gives these students a community, gives them a community of other people that have high expectations. They get, I know it's hard to believe, I have teenagers at home, but they get excited, they like working together. What's a study group? Meet at Panera, they walk out of it with that connection and community. Next quote here, challenges. It's not an easy A. They are learning how to fall down. They're learning how to struggle. We want them to do that here where they're supported before they get to college. This is the one that gets me every time. I didn't know I could do that. And this is what keeps me every single year, never giving up on the student that I'm like, oh my gosh, why, this seems like a stretch for you. We have students every single year that do not think that they are that smart. I do not think I am that capable. They walk out of there with that credential. They are so proud of themselves. And I think about that sophomore student who starts sophomore year and they come like, I didn't know I could do it, and it slingshots them forward. Had they have a whole new understanding of who they are as a person. So like on one hand, tests aren't everything, we know that, right? But on the other hand, it is forming how they define themselves. And it gives them this whole new idea of who they can become in the world. This last one here from the student voices is prepared. You know, and ultimately, that's why we're here. We want them prepared. And when we have students that go to college and they're in pre-med and they're in higher, high stakes situations, that is what they say when they come back. They're like, I was so prepared. It was easy. Like it was, I was ready to go. And my own kids have gone through college. I have seen this very firsthand. I had one student that was going through engineering during the COVID years, and he was in his weed out classes. And so like life comes full circle. And, he didn't struggle in school. He's not a genius, but he didn't struggle in school. Got a high ACT score, but we had a tough phone call, and he was like, it's rough. Like people are not making it. And both of my sons have quoted coming home from college, like I would not be doing this if it were not for my AP classes. So they do get it. And it's nice. It's just nice to know that what you're doing is actually serving the mission of the kids and their families in our community. We're going to kind of conclude here with teacher voices.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a common theme in the teacher voices. Deep conversations, right? Rewarding, like Greta mentioned earlier, there's a lot of work that goes into teaching AP. Deep conversations, foundation for the students, especially those English courses and the foreign language courses where they have essays and world history with all those essays, a lot of grading, but that connection you make with the kids, the deep conversations that you see happening in the classroom make it worthwhile. Motivated upperclassmen, so these kids come in, they're motivated, they're ready to go, and that makes you stay on your toes and you're motivated and ready to go. Watching them grow. I'm really lucky that I teach AP Physics 1 and AP Physics 2, and AP Physics 1 is a junior course, and so then I see those same kids, some of those kids take AP Physics 2, and seeing them, they're a completely different student after 2 years, right? I mean, they've grown so much, and that's really fun. That's what keeps me in doing AP as well. So engagement, deep conversations, the student growth. That's what teachers are consistently saying that they appreciate. So again, our growth goals are to just increase AP participation. We're doing great, but we want to keep pushing that. We want a culture where students are just expected to, okay, I'm a sophomore, or I'm going to take AP World History. It's my first try. I'm a junior, I'm going to take AP, or a sophomore, hopefully you took honors chemistry. So then junior, you're going to take AP Chemistry or AP Physics. We want to just make that the expectation to keep going, keep pushing into AP classes. And then increase test participation. It gives the teachers great feedback. It gives the students credit hours they can earn for college, so that financially that's very beneficial. Teacher professional development is important, especially for new AP teachers. I know I did that the first year before I was an AP teacher. Did some professional development, that really helped. Grading the AP exams, Greta's an AP reader. We have a couple other AP readers as well. That's great insight behind the scenes to see how the rubrics are designed, and we can bring that back into the classroom. And then again, potentially adding courses like we spoke about earlier.
Well, just wrapping up, we just want to, thank our school team and our admin team, and thank the district. And I just want, hopefully we are all appreciating, it just seems like a natural process, but I don't think it is. It's by design. It's by design with, how our administrative team has set this culture of like, we welcome all students. We trust you as professionals, and we're going to give you the tools to get better at your job. And then how can we continue to support and grow? And so, we just want to make sure that we're thanking everybody, and you guys included, for being part of this, opportunity to help our students reach their goals in the future, and really supporting our families too, because as you guys know, helping your kids get through college and be successful in life is what we're all trying to do as parents, and whatever we can do to show up, it's a tremendous opportunity. So I guess if you guys have questions, and Dr. O has a lot more data stuff, if you guys have any more of that stuff.
I don't have any questions, but I know that people in sports, or the kids that are in the sports, they strive to get goals. And I think that academic striving is as important as physical striving, because it builds that desire, because you like the feeling of striving and how much work you had to put into succeeding in something. So I think that's what this course does for the kids, is give them that feeling of success through that striving effort.
Yeah.
Thank you for what you do.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation and going through it. And I was just putting some numbers together. I think it had on there, over the last 4 years, we averaged like 2,000 credit hours awarded for each year, which, at $1,000 a credit hour probably in college, that probably is reasonable right now. I mean, that's $2 million in tuition saved by our families from those credits each year, which is substantial.
Yes.
You talked about, and that's just from the credit that they get from those classes. We talked about how it prepares them to be more successful in college. Once they get there, they're much more likely to succeed and not be spending money that they might not see a return on once they're in college for those families as well. So I think that's great. And then it's the opportunity for the students to get more in depth in these subjects and these areas that they might not know they have an interest, but it might trigger an interest to go study further on that subject, or the opposite. It might show them like, you know what, maybe I'm not overly interested in this subject. Let's save some money and not go to college for this. Let's pivot and go a different direction. So, which I think we talk about quite a bit. I love those opportunities for the students and the families to get those experiences here in high school before they get off to college. So, yeah, I appreciate all you do, all the staff does to give these opportunities to the students, and anything that the district can do to help even get that message out more and market it out more. I know Dr. Villarreal would love that opportunity to help you out. So thank you.
I guess my question kind of follows that, in that your communication with parents. I saw that you have the AP night, but have you found it a struggle to get the information out to parents, or, what other methods are you using to make parents aware? How do you start in the freshman year, or is it something in middle school that we start talking about? And then when these kids are in these classes, are you seeing that it requires additional communication with parents to keep them informed? Anything above and beyond that you have to do? I think, you've highlighted how this really is a culture that you're developing, and so parents are key to that culture. So just how do you hook them? How do you keep them involved? What are you doing to make sure they're active participants?
I can start. So as far as the parents concerned, my biggest struggle I have early on is when the students are struggling. At the beginning of the year, sometimes their first instinct is to say, well, I'm in over my head, and maybe I just need to drop the class, right? But I always encourage, and the counselors encourage, and teachers encourage, stick it out, right? And so I think that's the biggest thing that I need help with parents, first of all, is just don't let your kid drop, right? Make them, it's going to be a challenge, but I think it's important that they struggle now while we're here to help them, learn some grit and perseverance. So that's the biggest thing that I appreciate the parents do, and it took a while. I mean, going back to 2014 when we changed AP Physics curriculum, just for an example, I think I had like 30 students drop that first semester when the curriculum changed, because it was so hard, and it was just a big change all at once. It took a while to get confidence and to get parents to say, stick it out, it's going to be challenging, but it's going to be okay. And now it's not as big of an issue anymore. So we do appreciate that parent support of, yes, it's going to be hard, but you can do it. You can do difficult things. As far as communicating, is it more communication? I think I haven't really noticed. I mean, I've taught on-level, honors, and AP, and I try to communicate the same for all of those levels. We do have a special college and career fair actually tomorrow at the school. But I think our teachers and our counselors do a good job of just promoting and challenging kids. If I'm their freshman teacher, I kind of promote and I challenge, hey, next year maybe you take this class. And so we do a lot of that with the guidance counselors and with the teachers to get them into the challenging classes and to guide them into those classes. Did you notice anything else about communication for the parents?
I think what parents find trickiest is the payment piece, just to be honest with you. Like sometimes as parents, you can get inundated and it's like some districts take payments through their apps, you know, and I don't think like we fully are there yet. So I think like that's one way. But that's just how it is at every school. You have to use a different payment option and every school has their own choice. So as a parent, it's just not native and intuitive like, oh, this is how they have to figure out one more process. But I don't know, maybe social media, you guys would know better where parents like dig in and really consume the info. So if social media is where they're learning more about the benefits or stats, it could be a way to, you know, make them fully aware.
And
Well, I
would
think
say-
whatever you're doing, it's working, because you're having such a great turnout. But I just think, communication is always one of the hurdles that we all, in whatever we do, and so.
Yeah, we need to continue to be intentional with conversations, but no doubt from a social media, the marketing piece, and also celebrating and highlighting and promoting what we are doing. I think we need to continue to, work towards that and be smart about that as well. So.
I do have to throw in my 2 cents. As I get the students that, after high school, when I teach in college, and I don't get anybody directly since I teach something that's not, specific as an AP course, but the things that you talked about, being able to manage time management and learning how to struggle, and some of those things that we do see, you can definitely, I don't get a list of, hey, these kids in your class went through AP and these didn't, but you can tell. You can tell the ones who have the experience of working in groups and collaborating, and those who have had to struggle, and those who know how to manage their time and everything. You see that in the classroom, when I teach these courses, and I've been teaching at UNO for 10 years, and you can tell the students. And so I truly appreciate not only the subjects you're teaching them, but all the other things that you're teaching these students as they show up in college, because it, like I said, it is noticed. So appreciate all your hard work, really do.
Nick, Greta, excellent presentation. Dr. O, Jason, thank you for being here. We did notice the monarch suit, by the way. Don't think for 1 minute we didn't notice that, Greta. Well played, ma'am.
Thank you.
Carrying on with our agenda, we have reports from the superintendent.
Thank you very much, Ms. Witt, members of the board. For those members of the community or staff that may be watching at home, thank you for engaging with your school district and your Board of Education. We are well on our way to second quarter, well on our way to ending first semester. Fall always goes by in the blink of an eye, and it feels like when we come back from fall break, which typically marks the end of first quarter, you have a few weeks. You're at Thanksgiving, you come back from Thanksgiving, you have a few weeks, you're at semester break already. So anyway, I'm not one to wish time away, but it is going very fast. A few celebrations, a few announcements. One, just want to thank Dr. Becky Myers for her leadership on the PLCS Community Closet. You'll be hearing from Dr. Myers later on, but another very successful event. It marks the second and final Community Closet event of first semester. We'll follow it up with some additional ones that she will be sharing with you second semester. Also wanted to thank Dr. Villarreal for his efforts with the Family Engagement Series. I think I mentioned at the last board meeting, we did 2 different screenings, one at Monarch, one at Titan, of screenagers, which documents some of the challenges facing our teenagers on everything from drug and alcohol use to some of the dangers of social media, how constant screen time impairs a whole host of mental health outcomes. We didn't have the numbers that we were hoping for. I think I counted 15 roughly at screening 1, and I think Dr. V told me we had 5 approximately at screening 2. 20 is better than 0. And we always know that no matter how many opportunities we create and how much information we share, that there's always more we can do. But special thanks to Ms. Wood and Ms. Witt for attending the screening event at Papillion La Vista High School. Also wanted to share we had our first business elected officials advisory of the year. One of several advisories that the district hosts. We'll be doing our second Student Advisory later this week, and we've already hosted our first teacher and classified staff advisory, but this was the first of the business elected official advisory meetings. We had over 40 people. Ms. Scheller warned me multiple times in advance. She's like, Andy, I don't know that we're going to have enough room in the, we hosted in this room in the boardroom. Like, no, we'll always have more people RSVP than show up. Well, as usual, Stephanie was right, I was wrong. We had at least 40, which is a really good problem to have. So we spent a lot of the lunch period talking about topics that they want to cover over the course of the year. The list wouldn't surprise anyone around the boardroom table. It was everything from how trade education is being incorporated into our high schools to the importance of mental health. And then we spent a little bit of time, Dr. Siri spent some time talking about strategic planning, and our own Lee Danker made an appearance from the foundation to talk about the Community Engagement Center. So it was a really great way to kick off our business elected official advisory for the year. Also wanted to share with the board, we have started our PLCS Pick Me Up. So this is a program we've done for years and years where throughout the course of the school year, we try to do little things, little tokens of gratitude so that our staff know that we are thinking of them. Typically, they're distributed by central office staff, myself, cabinet, central office directors, and we visit each and every one of the buildings and programs across the district. And that may not sound like much of a task, but it typically takes us at least 4 weeks, if not 6 weeks, to get to every building, every program. But every one of our 1,800 employees, in theory, will get touched, and for those that are not, we have a way to reach back out to them if we miss them. So we've done everything from sweatshirts in the past, we've done personalized coffee orders. This year we are doing popcorn in their school colors, which is kind of a cool little idea, I thought. So we got started, but it'll take us several weeks to conclude those. And lastly, we are in our final week, I believe, Dr. Siri, of outdoor ed. I think maybe today, tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll be wrapping things up. We've been blessed by pretty decent weather. I think we've had a couple of near rainouts, but for the most part, outdoor ed has been a smashing success. Thank you to the PLCS Foundation for supporting that financially. Dr. Siri and I had a chance to visit last week. We didn't get to see all the stations in action, but we did get to see kids zip lining before we left. And it's pretty amazing. And what they're doing at Camp Joy Holling to dig out the pond and the zip line station, we added a new station with archery. It's some of the experiences our kids have. It's remarkable. And we've got a really good partner with the camp, and Dr. Siri's team puts in a ton of work preparing for a quality experience for all of our kids. So kind of a fun experience.
Tomorrow's the last day.
Tomorrow is the last day.
If it doesn't rain.
And it's like 98% chance. Brooke, hopefully it's not the Fighting Quail. I think you've already had your turn. Trumbull Park, okay, so the Roadrunners might need, Roadrunners pack your rain gear because it might get a little chilly and rainy. And with that, Ms. Wood, I'd conclude my superintendent's report.
Thank you. Now, board members reporting.
I did attend the Screenagers, as Dr. Rickley mentioned, the video at Monarch, and I just want to thank the staff that presented that night, the staff and parents that attended. It provided some great information, and there was some good dialogue and questions. Dr. Siri was also present and able to, address some of the questions that came up during that. But it was a small crowd, but again, those that were there, I know appreciated the opportunity to hear the information. I attended a liaison breakfast at Patriot Elementary on October 21st, and Principal Mindy Grimm and her staff were very welcoming. I think that we decided that maybe this was the first liaison breakfast that we've hosted. It was a great way to start your day with positive staff, and they had a lot of positive things to share with us. Some of their celebrations just included what a family atmosphere that they've developed there, and how the Patriot staff cares very deeply about the students and works very hard to ensure success there. One of the things that they've been working on is the purposeful planning time, so that they can use time to collaborate and work together to meet individual student needs. They did share some information about their 2 building goals that they're focusing on. One is in the area of the English language standards, and the other was in the area of working on engagement strategies to help with reduce some major and minor behavioral referrals. And so engagement strategies and working with staff to develop those strategies was one of the emphasis that they had. One of the things that they shared that I thought was very creative and also very positive, they've started a new structure of core teams, and they call it the ABCs. And the A team is the academic team or the school improvement team, the B team is the behavior team, and the C team is the community and culture team. And they have every member of their staff participate on one of those teams. So it allows all staff members to feel involved in the process of developing their culture and making decisions for their kids and staff. Some of the challenges that were shared, again, I think, as a member of the board, we often hear about the mental and behavioral challenges facing our kids today. And they, again, are doing many things to address that. They talked about check-in, check-out as one of the strategies they're using, skills for success, and they felt that that's been a very positive way to start their day with lots of resources, and it's quick and easy. But again, it is a challenge that they face. Also, being a building that has 2 or 3 sections causes some staffing changes yearly, which can be a challenge. And again, our special education staff and paras can be spread thin as we, in our district, try to have our inclusive practices in classrooms. But again, a very positive group of individuals there, very proud of their school, what they've accomplished, and have some great goals in place and strategies to move them forward. I also attended the Teammates Board on October 21st. In that, they're off to a good start this year, currently have about 80 matches in place, and that is from 4th grade up through high school. They do have a waiting list, and I would encourage, especially if there's any men out there looking for an opportunity to do some mentoring. We're kind of short in the male mentors at this time, so please reach out if that's something that you're interested in. The teammates this year, they're going to be working, kind of focusing on 2 areas, one being the recruitment area and the other in the area of finances and increasing their the money that they have for the program. So again, this was a group of, this board is very excited about meeting the needs of kids in the district through the Teammates program.
I also had a liaison lunch, although I wish I would have gone before Ms. Wood because she does such a great job. I don't like going after her of giving us a recap of her liaison breakfast, but I had a liaison lunch at Anderson Grove, so thanks, Ms. Moorhead, for allowing your staff to have lunch with us, and Ms. Siri and Dr. Rickley. I spent some time talking through the Special Olympics National Banner Unified Champion, which we celebrated earlier tonight, the successful PTO fundraiser that they just went through. And we also had some conversations on technology and what's the district plan with, one-to-one devices, more devices, especially at the 6th grade level, which was, great to have Ms. Siri there talking through the district's thinking and having that conversation with the staff. And I think most of the time was spent on the CKLA, which we talk about, I think, at every liaison lunch, especially at the elementary level. Talk about how it's great to see the students be much more engaged in this curriculum, which we've heard over and over again, which is good. But the first time that I've also heard, it's more rigorous and engaging, but at that elementary level, it is important for more individualized learning when students are falling behind, and talking about with the new curriculum, how do we adjust to handle those students that are falling behind with the more rigorous curriculum. And talking through those challenges and thoughts and go forward plan. So I thought it was a great conversation. Again, thanks to Dr. Rickley and Dr. Siri for being there and having those conversations with the staff. And again, thank you, Ms. Moorhead, for, it was a great conversation. The staff was very open, and you can just tell their pride of working at Anderson Grove was showing the entire time. And you have a great team there that's ready to help our students and our families. So thank you. And then we also took the kids to Terra Heights Trunk or Treat on Friday night, which was great, an amazing turnout, hundreds of people there. Thanks to Mr. Fritzen, the principal over there, all the staff, the PTO, all the volunteers for their 2.5 hours. It was a great event for the students running around in their costumes. And I know all the schools are doing those right now. So for those staff and the volunteers and the PTOs that are putting those on, thank you for doing that for the students and the families. It's just another thing that just helps us, be more of a community when you can get those people turning out at our schools and having it as a place for our families to enjoy. So thanks everyone for doing that.
Well, I'll wrap up with all fall sports and activities have all been coming to a close or moving into the playoff situation. I just want to acknowledge all the student athletes and the successes and the coaches. We've had representatives, I believe, at every state activity thus far, with band being the last to wrap up this weekend. And obviously football is moving into the playoffs as well as softball. But once again, we should be super proud as a district with the successes both on and off the field between athletics and activities. We have another state champion in Class A girls cross country, runner-up on Class A boys. The teams all had great successes, both Monarchs and Titans. Tennis had a successful year, medalists in golf. And then band, like I mentioned earlier, numerous awards for individual groups, percussion and such. And unfortunately, Millard West won Class A again for band, but that's all right. So again, great things happening from activities and athletics. And I failed to mention last meeting that I had attended the state middle school cross-country race that is held annually now at Papillion with us to South at Walnut Creek Lake. And just what an event. If you've never been, I mean, this is, for those that don't follow cross-country, the state meet's been held in Kearney for at least 30 plus years. And now we've established, the state middle school course, and that being held by our district is a great honor. And to hear friends and coworkers and things that have family in all parts of the state to go, he set his goal to get to Papio South, and to see the hundreds upon hundreds of kids running in middle school. When I ran in middle school, I was one of two. The middle school programs were just starting, and to say in 30 years to see what the middle school programs across the state are producing, let alone what that event means to our community. So big shout out to the Papillion Lewis South staff, activities directors, and I saw numerous current student athletes from Papio South volunteering and ensuring that race was successful and cheering on all those student athletes. So pretty cool event that we get to host every year. So.
Thank you. I did attend a liaison lunch at the Ideal School, which is a school where kids are assigned if they need credit recovery assistance. And everything was very positive this year. I think they were most grateful for, I don't know what you call it, the draft program or whatever it is you do to select the students who will attend based on need. And the positivity was palpable, I think, from the group. They seemed more, I've been there before for a liaison lunch, and they just seemed more relaxed, more happy with the way things are working out. It was a good lunch. I also attended the Screenagers engagement. It was very worthwhile. And as we exited the event, I think most of the parents agreed that every parent should see those. And how do we get them more involved? So if we can figure out a way to either market it or find another way to get people to see those kinds of things that bring a lot of information to moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas and guardians who need to hear it so that they can help their kiddos if they need it along the way. It was very positive. And then the band, my grandson's in the band. He's in the Monarch Marchers, and it was, their last event was spectacular. I hadn't seen the entire show before because they have this little kind of pre-show thing that happens and this video that plays, and it's just wonderful. And I think both Monarchs and Titans received superiors across the board, so they all finished very well. And we're very proud of our band and our other athletes and activities participants. So thank you for everyone who attended those. Any other comments for board? Moving on then to committee reports, Buildings, Grounds, and Finance.
We have not met. Okay, correct. We have not met.
Human Resources and Student Services.
We have not met since our last meeting, but we do have a negotiations kickoff meeting tomorrow night here at the central office.
And Curriculum and Americanism.
We have not met either. I'm sure you went over everything last meeting when I was gone, so, yep, thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to action items. Our only action item tonight is action by consent.
I'll make motion to approve action by consent items as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Madler and a second by Mr. Bailey. Any discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Witt,
Yes.
Mr. Lotus,
Yes.
Ms. Wood,
Yes.
Mr. Bailey,
Yes.
Ms. Butler,
Yes.
Mr. Madler.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Moving on to discussion and information items. The first item is the Bond 2023 Facility Improvement Update. Mr. Richards.
Thank you, Ms. Witt. Good evening, everybody. Tonight, we just want to kind of give you a broad facility improvement update across the district from our bond of 2023 projects. Last time we did this, I think, was January, and we had Pat Carson from BCDM come in, and we'll have him come in again probably around January or so to give a little bit more on that. But tonight, I just want to kind of get you updated where everything is and where we're going in the future here. So, facility improvement overview, looking at our completed projects, we have quite a few of them now. Baseball, softball fields, the security window film and all the buildings are done except for the ones we're in process of doing with the projects. But those will be done in conjunction with the projects. Terra Heights, Trumbull Park, Parkview Heights, Hickory Hills, and the YATP building program. So just kind of looking at some of the things that we do, and I know you guys have been out to a lot of these buildings, so, but just to reiterate, you know, we're really going in and giving it a fresh look with ceiling tiles, LED lighting, new carpet, new paint. In some cases with renovations, we're doing the, you know, media center front desks, and the front desks in the office, those types of things throughout the building. So this is just an example of Terra Heights. Playgrounds, so we're hitting those as we go as well with resurfacing, and then our engineers are kind of taking a look at our playgrounds equipment-wise, and if there's a need, we usually update those at the same time, because once you get the surface down, you don't want to be pulling equipment out and then trying to put it back in. So if there's some playground equipment that's been around 12, 15 years that doesn't look like it's going to last, you know, another 5, we would typically take it out and replace it in these projects. Here's our new front entrance for Terra Heights as part of the project to kind of designate an entry area off to the north side of the building now. That came out pretty nice. And as well as you can see the new parking lot and, you know, flagpole and things around that area. Even in this picture, we had a lot of HVAC equipment right there. As you walked in, we put that on the roof to kind of get that out of the way, just little things like that. Here's an example at Trumbull Park of some playground equipment done with the swing set. And just looking into a classroom with fresh new carpet, LED lighting. It's so much brighter in those classrooms, and the ceiling tiles really kind of whiten it up a little bit to make it more bright in those classrooms. Parkview Heights, another classroom look in for a renovated classroom. It's all kind of looks brand new, and that's kind of what we wanted. Get a brand new feel in these old schools. And this, a lot of these older buildings, we went in and added classrooms, if you remember, and redid the old classrooms and made those bigger. So we had bigger learning spaces throughout each of these older schools. Another Parkview Heights picture. And then Hickory Heights, of course, this is a little more extensive with they didn't have the front entrance done yet. I mean Hickory Hill, I'm sorry. I got Hickory Heights up here, okay. That's not good, yeah. So we added a new front entrance, we had a new kitchen area, expanded the gym as part of that renovation, and they're getting similar things as Trumbull Park, Terra, and Parkview as well. So look inside Hickory Hill. We have the nice little front desk area. Some new cabinets. I think this really, everybody that walks into this place is just like, oh my gosh, it's so brighter with the new flooring and, new ceiling paint and all that stuff has really brightened that area up going up the stairs there. And then getting into our YATP program building. All of you, I think, were at the grand opening of this building, so it really came out nice, and that's going to be a nice program for us and building for us in the future. Just some inside looks at the commons area, where we have a kitchen in there for kids to practice skills. We have an apartment. It's for them to get some life skill learning. A bed, a couch. You can see the kitchenette in there, and pretty nice little apartment. And then our current projects we're continuing with are La Vista Middle completion of summer of '26, Papillion Middle completion of '26. I know there was some questions there, whether we would get to that. They got enough done. They feel comfortable that they'll have that done next summer, which is great news. Lincoln View is our new elementary school, completion June 1st. I know that seems a little early. That's the deadline we put as part of that project to get it done so we can do things over the summer in there to get ready for the start of school. So we're not butting up against the start of school and wondering if we're going to have a school done and those types of things. But I think June 1st is actually conservative. I mean, they're telling us May 1st at this point, so that's really good news. That's Boyd Jones on that one. We have Bell Elementary under construction right now. That's to be done next summer, and then Portal. Both of those are halfway through or a little bit more than that of those projects. La Vista Middle, we redid that track, if you remember. New scoreboard there, new field goals, new shed down on the end as well, with some sidewalks. And if you see up on the hill there, we added some bleacher space, and then put a stairway all the way down to the field. So we had another way to get down there. They're not going all the way down to the end of the field there. So lots of good things there on the outside. Same with the inside, just that renovations that we're doing throughout with the older schools right now, with lights, carpets, ceiling tiles, paint, all those good things. Papillion Middle, same type of project on their track and field. This one, both of those got a little delayed early in the summer we had a ton of rain going on, so the outdoor projects in these two went a little over what we wanted to, but they did pull it out here in the fall on the track parts. Lincoln View Elementary, those of you, I know you've driven past it, they had a great winter to work last year, so they got ahead of schedule last winter. They were able to kind of complete a lot of the outdoor stuff and didn't get held up by much all winter long, so that was really good news. So we're looking good here. The remaining projects we have are Patriot. We'll start design. I know we had a page turn on that project last week. Both Walnut and Patriot page turns, and then we'll design that, and then I can't remember which school's which with Boyd Jones, or have to look at my list, but Boyd Jones and Sampson will be doing those two projects. So that'll be good. Then they'll go out to bid with their contractors and give us a guaranteed maximum price here. So you'll see, I think we have them scheduled, Greg Steeran come in from BCDM, kind of give you an overview of the project at the last meeting in November. And then we'll bring you some numbers for one of the schools in December and then the other school in January for those bids, for those projects. But we're hearing prices are even gone down more since we've done our last few projects even on the bids. So that's good news in the construction world. That there's a lot of eagerness for getting some of those bids, and we're seeing some lower prices there. Our Buildings Grounds Finance Subcommittee are working on some middle school land purchase. We're trying to get some land picked out, what would be the best spaces to do this. We'll bring that to the other subcommittee of the board here with some recommendations. My guess is by November, our next meeting is November 14th, so we'll have some good information there. Hopefully by December, we can get to the other subcommittee and start having some discussions on a middle school land purchase and wrap that up maybe in February or March timeframe, just kind of ballpark. We're working with a really good agent that's given us some good options right now on the middle school land. And there is still some out there. That's a good thing. And then, the biggest thing was we got 12 schools into this project right now, the bonds, all 12 schools. So we have another 9 to go. So those schools, we still have to get safety and security infrastructure going with. I know our technology team and construction teams are really busy with these projects we have going on right now. So we're going to start that design for probably half those projects of those 9 schools next year, next fall, about this, a little before this time. Try to get those out to bid for the summer of 27, and then do the other half in the summer of 28. That'll complete our bond pretty much at that point. So that's kind of the tentative look at what we have remaining and the schedule and what we're looking at. Any questions, comments at this time?
No, my only comment is big thanks to Dr. Villarreal and his team with continuing kind of the bond squad and the bond updates. It's really great to see the students, delivering and presenting on, what they see happening at their schools that have been impacted by this bond. So those are always really great to see those posts on social media, and yeah, I think it gives folks a really good insight that, maybe aren't on that side of the district and their school isn't under renovation, but we're hitting pretty much all of them. So, and the middle school tracks look phenomenal. That was a long time overdue to go from concrete to real track surfaces for our middle schools. So big thanks to all the construction crews and getting as far along as we've been able to get. So thanks, Mr. Richards, to you and your team as well for staying on top of all these projects and making sure that our contractors and our partners are meeting our standards, but also keeping us on a nice tight timeline.
Yeah, I agree with the bond squad, the kids. I've seen several on social media, and I'm always just thrilled to see them and watch them talk about their buildings and how important safety is to those kids, because one of the things they've always talked about is how safe their school feels. And if a kid feels safe in school, they're going to do well. So that's one thing. Parkview Heights, I remember doing a liaison lunch there, and they hadn't even started, and the classrooms were so tiny, and they were all squished in there. Just seeing that gigantic classroom, it was just like so impressive, and they must be thrilled to have that change. So thank you very much. Next on our agenda is the 2025 classified staff desktop purchase.
Welcome, Matt.
All right, hopefully this will be pretty quick. So as part of the cycle, we've got our desktop machines that the classified staff use on a 6-year cycle. And we purchased them back in 2019, so they were up for a refresh. So we're working with multiple vendors to get quotes for Windows machines that'll fulfill those needs. So I'm hoping to bring that to the board for the November 10th meeting for approval. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Are you using Microsoft Windows operating system on those machines? Like,
Say that again.
Are you using the Microsoft on the Windows machines? It's like Windows 11?
Yes.
Is that what we're
Yep.
going to?
Yep.
Do you know anything about that? I've heard that they capture your data and keep it. Do you know anything about that, or?
I do not know.
Okay. Well, there's conspiracy theories
Can't
all
be
over
too
the place.
careful.
Yeah,
And we also use Google, obviously.
yeah.
So,
I don't think it matters what, behind the scene, my husband's been trying to think if he doesn't want to move up to 11 because they're going to capture all of his data, and he's worried about that, so I'm just curious if you
Yeah,
find
the
out
The
anything.
network team does not seem to be worried.
Okay,
And we're
good.
already on Windows 11.
And we
on
have
that
our
system.
own protections in place to help with that, so, good, okay.
Matt, we know that there was some early concern as recently as a few months ago about tariffs, different technology coming in from different countries. What, if any, impact are you seeing with price with desktops, laptops, Chromebooks, iPads? Are you seeing any significant movement yet on price?
We did, actually last spring, we saw it jump up. They've come down slightly. So it actually worked out that we waited a little bit to purchase these machines. They have come back down a little bit. There are talks of higher tariffs increasing. So I'm hoping to get in soon enough to where we don't have to see any of those price increases, but yeah. Good question. Yep. Any other questions? Thank you.
I do feel like 6 years flies when you're having a good time. It feels like we just did this.
Last item on our discussion agenda is the PLCS Community Closet.
Welcome, Dr. Myers.
Thank you so much for inviting me here to speak with you about the PLCS Community Closet. It's one of my favorite topics to visit with you about. Oh, very good. Wonderful. Awesome, okay. Well, I just am here to give you a little bit of an update. It's been a while since we have spoken in much depth about the community closet. So just wanted to provide you with the latest and greatest of what's been happening and what our students have been working on when it comes to the community closet. So just a review of our purpose. Our purpose is uniting our community to support students and families by reducing barriers to learning. And we really have 4 facets that we work on for that focus. The first is probably what you hear about most, and that is access to essential clothing and personal care items through the community closet. And we'll be talking a little bit more about that process and how that works. Community partnerships and collaboration. This is something that we greatly value. We have outstanding community partners with our school district, and we have been able to tap into these partners and form new partnerships across the past 5 or so years. And so I want to share a little bit of information about that with you. We also have student-led community service projects, and we'll talk about that piece, and job skill development. So the community closet really began to form as an idea that Dr. Rickley had. I would say it'd be about towards, I would say 1920, Dr. Rickley. It was this little speck, because it was my first year over here at central office, and he sent us an email, hey, I saw this program in the school district, just passing this idea along. And we got so excited. We got so excited about it and began to form a committee to talk about the possibilities. And it kind of all stemmed from that. So it's evolved quite a bit since that time. We are very careful about making sure that the program stays within the bounds of what we as a school district can and should be doing to support our students and families so that we can maintain that focus on learning and removing those barriers from learning. So just to give you a little bit of an idea of the families that have been served by the community closet over the past few years, We started out really in a classroom at Carriage Hill, and at that point in time, we were just a very small operation. So we kind of packed everything in there, and we were just trying to figure it all out. How do we know what's coming in? How do we know what's coming out? How are we best meeting, what are the needs, and how do we best meet them? And so across that amount of time, you can see that really in the first real full year of implementation, we served just around 700 families. And then that has stayed between 700 and a little over 900 for the past few years. This school year already, in just this first quarter, we've already served 356 families. So it's pretty impactful. The items distributed. So this could be anything: clothing, hygiene products, car seats, feminine hygiene products, diapers, you name it, anything that comes through the community closet. We're up to 124,000 items that we've distributed at this point, and we're really, really proud of that. We receive outstanding support again from our community partners, but also our students and our schools, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So access to clothing and personal care items. I think probably what you hear most about are the events that we have. And we have about 4 a year at La Vista Middle School, and they are something. It's really exciting. It's fast-paced. It's fun. We have volunteers. The volunteers are the only reason that these events are possible, and they support families as they shop for items at these 2-hour events. So we just held our winter coat event last weekend, and it was a huge success. So in just 2 hours' time, we distributed 567 coats and 1,500 hats, gloves, and boots. And again, that's only possible because of the volunteers. It's just truly so fun to be a part of that. One thing that we're really stressing with families and in our schools this year is that we have private appointments available. And this is really a way for our families to come and shop and be able to try clothes on and take the time that they need to look around and get those preferred items that they pick out, and really have time instead of just at the events. It's kind of fast-paced. So this is more like a shopping experience. Ashley and Virginia over at the Closet, they make it look beautiful and smell beautiful, and it's just kind of a boutique experience that families have over at our Closet location. And so Dr. Villarreal is helping us communicate that out so our families know that you don't have to wait in line. Feel free to make a private appointment and shop. Take the time that you like to find those items that you're looking for. Couple more things, and also just want to mention we do have a partnership with Calvary Christian Church for diapers, and so we do have a diaper bank at our Closet location, so that's something we definitely want to promote. And then Access Period and the Period Project, we support that as well with feminine hygiene products, so we're super excited to be partnered with that program. As far as community partnerships and collaboration, there are so many different organizations that we could mention here, so I'm just going to highlight a very few. You'll also notice on these slides there are just some quotes here and there to share with you, just some honest feedback that we've gotten from different folks. But that top left picture, that's Mitch and Stephanie from the city of La Vista, and each year they do a coat drive to help us have enough coats for the Closet event that we just held last weekend, and they are just tremendous partners. I think we've been doing this with them for 4 or 5 years now, at least, so it's wonderful. The bottom left, I think, hopefully you saw this on social media. I got such a kick out of this because the way there's Tim in that picture from Calvary Christian Church, they're just outstanding partners for us. he said, I don't think we got as many coats, as we normally do. I don't know. We got about 4 or 5 bags. And so, so when we went to pick them up, this was his definition of a bag of coats. And I mean, it was just jaw-dropping, amazing. So, and then in the top right, the Papillion La Vista Schools Foundation also, obviously, they're just outstanding partners to us, and they do so much to go out and seek grants for us. So this is an example of one of the grants that they secured. This is through Warner, and it was $5,000 for shoes. So these are just some of the shoes that we were able to purchase with that money, which was amazing. Another example of a grant they got for us, a donation, was for car seats. And so we have a little bit of funding for that. And those are the kinds of things that we want to help families with too. It doesn't just have to be clothing or hygiene. It's just some of those things that come up that they're kind of hard to fill in the school setting. From there, a really important piece of the community closet is that each of our schools and our students are invested in it. This is a really important piece. So whether it is, we have a lot of whole school type donation drives or service learning project or clubs or activities. On the screen is a few examples. On the very left, the totes. It's actually really cute. This is the Titan football team, and on the little hangers for the closet are little pictures of underwear and socks, but they did a drive because the underwear and socks that we give are obviously brand new, so we have to purchase those. And so they did a drive. They've done one for the past, I think, 3 years for underwear and socks for us. The middle picture is the Key Club from Monarchs, and they did a whole drive of clothing for us just a couple weeks ago, so that was super exciting. And then the picture on the right, these are the Portal Stars, the Star Council. This was last year's picture. The Star Council did a service learning project at school, 1,805 pairs of socks, and they're on our list again this year to do another drive for Socktober. So these are just some of the folks, just to give you some examples. Golden Hills, Ashbury, and Portal are all doing a sock drive this month. We love Socktober. That's just such a huge need. Our central office, we're gathering donations right now of hygiene products. And thank you, Stephanie. You are been amazing leading that. And then Prairie Queen is also doing a sock drive. And then in November, Carriage Hill, Patriot, and Anderson Grove are doing hygiene drives. So everybody is very invested in making sure that we have the items that families need. And it's just an amazing thing to be a part of. And then this last facet I just wanted to mention is job skill development. So students in our young adult transition program are able to serve at the community closet as a job site. And this is a treat for everyone. Just being able to work with the students and the staff over at YATP has been a great opportunity for our team, for the students, and for the staff. So just some of the things that they do to support the closet. This is one of their job sites where they learn skills. So they do some delivery. They'll come pick up the donations from central office, and they have a route that they go on to take the donations. They also do folding and sorting and hanging of clothes and learning those skills that prepare them for their post-secondary lives. And so we have a quote up there from Dr. Post, the principal, and sometimes we just kind of sit back and really are grateful for the opportunity that we have this for them within our own district, and they don't need to necessarily go outside of the district to learn these skills. Often we'll be asked, how do I make a donation? We do have information on our website, but did just want to share that we accept donations here at central office during our regular hours, and then the foundation supports us by accepting monetary donations through there. And then we often get inquiries about volunteering for the community closet. I think the biggest way that we need support with volunteers would be at our events. It's amazing how many people it takes to make something like that happen. But I'm looking around, and so many of you have volunteered at those, and we're so grateful for that. It's truly a joy to be a part of. And this was just from our closet event, and we did have a few more folks. That's a lot of people. And we got, let's see, we had 123 families went through, and they served all of those families, I think it was in a little over an hour. All of those families came through. And then we just had a few trickle in after that. That's quite a feat, so it's pretty impressive. But they do that by helping them from right when they walk in the door to helping them out to their cars, and it's a really enjoyable experience. I will say the majority of our volunteers are staff. And if you think about that, they've been working like, all week long, and they donate their time on a Saturday. It's just such an amazing thing to be a part of, and we're just so grateful for everyone that's able to do that. Very quickly, just wanted to add just a couple more quotes of just some supports that the closet has been able to provide. This is an example of, wrestling shoes, but I would venture to say most activities and sports areas, we've been able to support students in these areas. We had a family that had suddenly experienced homelessness, and so that created some issues with school attendance, amongst other things. And so that's an area that the community closet really does support directly to reducing those barriers when students are feeling uncomfortable or worried about what they're wearing or all of those pieces. They're not available for that learning, and many times that truancy is an issue. In addition, we love to go find prom dresses and homecoming dresses. That's something that the closet has been able to do. We do love getting donations of prom dresses and homecoming dresses. And we do have some funding for where, if we don't have the right size, we want our students to take part in those extracurricular activities. So we do have some funding that we can support students in that way as well. And then just more with just some of the social emotional piece. The community closet is really tied directly to our strategic goal on mental health, in so many different ways. I never even knew that direct tie until I've learned so much from our last strategic plan process that I see all that interaction now, and it's truly outstanding. So there, just a few, but I would love to answer any questions if there wasn't any information that you're wondering about or any questions I can answer about the closet.
Dr. Myers, could you tell us a little bit more about how I would arrange a private appointment if needed?
You bet, you bet. So we have a phone number and email on the website, but it's communitycloset@plcschools.org. And really shoot us an email, and then we'll work with families to find a time that works for them. So if it's a situation where a family, is working during the day, we can figure out how to schedule a time outside of that. And really try to find a time also where if the students want to try on clothing, that they can be there. So during the school day is not always the best time for that, so we're happy to do that according to their schedule. So, yeah.
I know that you have the quote up there from the school counselor. Sherry works at Carriage, which of course is a title building, and I know she has talked to the counselor there about a couple of families that she felt might need some help, and he was able to work with those families and get them set up with appointments. So I know there are a lot of different ways to do that. I know that the school counselors do a lot of work with being able to approach the families, delicately, obviously, because, it's obviously, a very tough time and can be embarrassing for those families. But that's been a big thing, and I know that we've seen a number of families that have been helped through that, the counselors.
You bet. Thank you for mentioning that, Mr. Bailey. I will tell you, our counselors, social workers, and administrators, we are in constant contact with them. If we're noticing maybe a family is clearly, going through a patch of time that is, and we don't need any information. We just want to support our families. But, it could be a job loss, it could be a death in the family, it could be medical bills, whatever that is. But if we're kind of noticing where the need might be quite a bit, the social workers and the counselors can help support families by maybe introducing some more sustainable type ideas, figure out some ways, some other avenues of support that maybe they didn't know existed in our community as well. And I will tell you, teachers like Sherry Bailey and being able to get us connected with families has just been absolutely outstanding. So,
And Dr. Myers, could you share with the board why it is important for the district to serve this need for our families?
yeah. Well, I will tell you, I could go on forever, so cut me off, because I noticed I was last, and that's probably why, because I could talk about this forever. But really, as a principal in the school district of 2 non-title buildings, okay? It doesn't matter what school. We have needs in every single one of our buildings, and sometimes it could just be a patch of time where a family is going through some hardship, or it could be something that is a little bit more lasting. But if we're talking about our focus is on student learning, then we need to figure out ways to remove those barriers so that they can have access to that learning. And if they are unable to focus, if their basic needs aren't met, if there are the social emotional pieces that I mentioned before, truancy, all of those pieces get in the way of that learning. So it truly goes hand in hand. This is a support program to enhance all the awesome things that are happening in the classroom. Yeah.
Dr. Myers, I just wanted to thank you for your leadership. A program like this doesn't happen without a voice, an advocate, somebody with a vision. That person is you. Also want to make sure that the foundation gets their credit. We don't get this program up and running without the generous support of a grant from the foundation. They've continued to support us in many ways. People around this table, there's board members that I've seen on those Saturday mornings volunteering their time, as well as the administrators. How lucky are we to live in a community that supports something like this? Even in an affluent community like this, where we see $500,000, $600,000 houses, people that are seemingly have life figured out and are prosperous beyond measure, but behind every one of our communities, every one of our neighborhoods, every one of our elementary buildings, there are people struggling. There are people living on the edge. There are people living hand-to-mouth, paycheck to paycheck, and they need the help. One could maybe argue, maybe that's not the traditional job of a public school. I would say it is our job. If not us, who? If not now, when? So for you to be part of the solution, for us to be part of the solution, this is one of these things I couldn't be proud of, and we're doing God's work here. So thanks for your leadership.
It's a joy, and I appreciate the opportunity. And again, I want to echo what you said about our foundation. Any request has been met. I mean, it's been remarkable. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I should, and it just, they are able to help us secure that funding to make it happen. A car seat, for example, may not be a traditional thing that we would look for, but yet, they've come through for all that. And then again, Ashley and Virginia, we have 2 employees part-time that work in the closet. They're everywhere, so they're outstanding, and they truly do all the work. They are just wonderful, and we get a lot of great feedback about them from our families, so. All right, thank you.
Great report. Thank you, Dr. Myers.
When I got my agenda package tonight, I thought this would be a short event. But we have had some excellent presentations and good reports, very worthwhile. Finally, future board calendar on October 28th, liaison lunch at La Vista West with Mr. Lotus. November 3rd is a no-school staff development day. November 4th, liaison lunch at YATP with Mr. Bailey. November 7th, liaison lunch at Ashbury with Ms. Butler. And on November 10th is our next school board meeting here at 6 p.m. No other business. We will adjourn at 7:39.